going to do this today. And I thought, you know what? I didn't come up with a topic, and I think that's okay. We can talk about anything you want to talk about. Bring it. Happy to share. We're just going to make this a fun, open, relaxed land talk. So for anyone just joining who does not know who I am or what this is about, I am Jill DeWitt, and I'm one half. I'm co-founder of Land Academy and House Academy. My partner in crime, Stephen Jack Pitala, will be joining here shortly. He's doing some post-production for our podcast right now, is why he's not here at this moment, but he'll be jumping in. And you can read our bios and get more, but we've got 16,000 deals under our belt, and gosh, decades of experience, and now we're here to share it with you. And I love Clubhouse because it's like a podcast on steroids. I can podcast, I don't get to talk to you and hear your answers and your follow-up questions right away, and here I get to. So that's why I love this environment. So please feel free. You want to say, what the heck are you guys talking about? What do you do with the land? How do you buy land and make money on that? That's, you must put something on it. No, I don't actually. We just know how to buy it right and mark it up and make a great profit. And we've been, like I said, done many, many deals, and now we're here to share that with you because we really believe, or I wouldn't be here. There's enough land to go around. We can all, be doing this. There's so many counties and so many properties and so many things that you could do, and so many niches that you could turn this whole land business into. You could pick one county, you pick one good county, you could be happy there for years, just buying and doing more deals. So happy that you're here. And hello, Stephen Jack Pitala. I just was giving a little intro into who we are and what we do, kind of the big picture. And today I purposely have, well, not purposely, we're going to go with it. I have no real formal topic to talk about. So I think this is a good thing. Then we can just really open it up to anything that anybody wants to talk about, know about land investing, any kind of investing, because what we do is so unique that it applies to all property types. And we have people from everywhere. What's so interesting is once you spend some time with us and get a hold of what we're doing here and how we're using data to make really good decisions for us and pick good areas and pick good properties, you go, wait a minute, that works for apartment homes. Yeah, buildings. Yeah, it kind of does. That works for houses. Yes, it does. That works for commercial properties. Yes, it does. That works for things that are not related to real estate. Yes, it does. If you can get your hold on the data, it applies. A long time ago, we stopped talking about it because, let's be honest, Land Academy and House Academy, like I just said, you could be happy in one area. We were going to do Land Academy, House Academy, Car Academy, Boat Academy, Airplane Academy. If you've not heard this in a while, these were all things that we were going to do. And then there were even more that I know that you, Jack, had lined up. But like I just said a few minutes ago, wow, I don't need to do all that. I don't need to be a car buying pro. I'm pretty happy doing land, and I make better returns. Land and houses keep us just fine. Oh, don't forget Mobile Academy.
Yeah.
We're doing a version of that right now. So we've decided that in our world, land, mobile, house, those are enough niches for us. So if you need more niches than that, I don't want to even know what goes on in your world because I'm busy enough. So we have Education Academy, kind of, we're getting good at that. So, goody. I see a lot of good people here in the room. Please jump in. I want to talk to you. I want to know whatever question you have. I want to address it and help you, whether you're part of our community or you just are here on accident. Like you hit the wrong button. We're happy with that too, because I have a lot to share. So how I just was sharing, you were a little bit late jumping here because you were doing some podcast post-production. Are you happy with that? Are you where you need to
Yes.
be right now? Okay, good.
Yes, very.
Okay, good. This is us. My life has turned into Content Academy. I want to start. I want to start putting academy after everything because that's.
Well, I think that we've tried a lot of different stuff, and for a lot of reasons, including legal reasons, we all just continually come back to land.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I have a topic. I'd love to hear what people want to, how you handle these situations, especially right now, because we just did. It's the number one thing on my to-do list today that I have to do when we're done with it. Oh, good. Hi, Rainmaker. I'm going to bring you right up here. I'm going to first talk to Rainmaker. All right, you should be good. Hey, how are you?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good.
Good. Bring
I
it.
was, well, I'm trying to bring it. I'm looking for the emails to bring it. The long and short of it is, I, my background is really in financial planning, and I kind of did that and triaged, long story, into the private equity space. And when I was at the top of my game at Fidelity, I basically focused on selling mutual funds to some of the top advisors in the country. And you know what? I didn't see it to be that much different than raising capital. And so I kind of fell into that. But mind you, I didn't know much about real estate. And I just lucked into like raising $247 million in a deal back in like 2020 for a guy out of the Beverly Hills area who builds VA clinics for the Department of Veteran Affairs. And so I got an institutional buyer to come in to agree to build 40 VA clinics with them. And so, when I did that, everyone kept going. I kept on getting all these real estate deals because they're VA clinics, so they thought I was a real estate expert. And I was like, no, I'm not a real estate expert. I just really know how to sell financial products, and I just kind of paralleled it into that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I did a deal recently out of my own money, and it was because I'm in Dallas, Texas, and a guy came to me, and he basically had built 14 houses with this guy, but he wasn't on title in any of it, and he wanted to do his own thing. And so I loaned him $115,000 to buy 2 acres to build a custom home house in Granbury, Texas, which you probably don't even know where that's at. And then I went to a family office conference in January, and I'm going to land my plane and ask the question here real quick. I want to just kind of set up the stage. And I came across a guy who was they were in Raleigh, North Carolina, and he basically was in the land business. And he told me something like they would take the land up to the point where they're like getting ready to do the permitting for it, and then they would sell it off to developers. And he had told me it was like they were working on this project for like 2 years, and I have his email somewhere where he's seeing if I could come and buy half of his stake for like 950,000. And I wanted to get you guys thought on it, but I still haven't found the email. The point I'm making is uh, I don't have a lot of real estate experience, but I've been in the financial service industry for about 15 years. I've raised a lot of capital for deals, and the land business seems like a good business, but I just don't know enough about it yet. So that's what I'm getting to. So I was wanting to learn a little bit more about you guys' academy, what one could expect to get from it, if it's like a membership thing or some lifetime. Like I just like to learn more about what you guys do and what you guys offer your students, so I can get more of an understanding. So
I
that's
love
that's
it.
that's it. And then if I can find this guy's email somewhere, I'll read off what this guy doing, because it sounds really really awesome, and they made a crazy profit on it. It almost seemed like it should be illegal, but it's not. So anyway, I'll yield the mic.
I'm sure, Jack, you're thinking when I'm thinking Daryl is in the right place.
Well, you're a perfect candidate for Land Academy. You bring a lot to the table, which is always really helpful. I come from an accounting background, and Joe and I together have done almost 16,000 land transactions. So we do it, I think, in a little bit of a unique way, and I think you'll understand how we do it. We use data to find the right places to send mail. And then once we do find those right places, we test it and retest it and test it before we spend any real money. And when they pass all of our tests, we internally call it a red, green, yellow test. When it passes our tests and we find the zip codes that make sense, we send blind offer campaigns. So we'll send 10, maybe 10,000 actual offers to the owners that we've identified would make sense, and then see if they respond. We actually price, again, using data, we price the offer how that ensures some type of profit margin for us that's acceptable. And it turns out about every 2,000 to 2,500 properties that we send offers to, and this is any kind of land, could be commercial, it could be residential, recreational, whatever. We buy a property that fits within our acquisition criteria. So as you can imagine, the more mail you send out, the more deal flow that you get, and it's relatively automatic. So and then it becomes an issue of setting up systems to get the phone answered correctly, and all of that. So it's really what I think is close to a risk-free real estate scenario that you can find. It's very data-driven. There's a ton of math involved, and then on Jill's side, there's just a ton of sales involved. But it's not much different than raising capital. You got to present yourself, and it sounds like you've got half of it, at least half of it, licked here. So that's what we do.
And then we share all of that. So Land Academy, what we do, Daryl, is we decided a long time ago, are we giving up our secrets here? But yeah, there's enough property to go around. Yeah. So we share our whole business model, start to finish. We're helping people create their own businesses, basically, and then we're providing all the tools and support that they need to do that. And then the end goal is we have a bunch of business partners, because there's always going to be like someone who needs money, like you just did for that person. You know, we lend a lot of money. People used to lend for us. And some things, not really much, but mostly we help other people get going and lending and partnerships. And then the end result is we're all doing bigger and better deals together. So it's beautiful.
We have multiple transactions underway at any given time, like you just described. Mm-hmm. They're probably not at that financial level, but we'll buy a piece of property in a market that's conducive to minor splitting it or subdividing it for less than $100,000, and by the time we're done, it's worth $700,000 to $800,000. It usually takes about a year, sometimes a little bit over a year in this market right now. So,
all right, I found it. So this is what the guy had said to me. He says, Teddy, Daryl, sorry for the delay in getting this to you. Attached is one of the subdivisions I would like to sell 50% of my position. I currently own 100%. It's under contract with a home builder to list it on the New York Stock Exchange. We're delivering finished lots under a contract with a takedown schedule that is outlined in the attachment that also is attached to the plans. I have $950,000 in this project to date. That includes land acquisition, clearing, and erosion control. The project is funded by our own line of credit. All costs are listed in the document as well as projections. One thing I did not include is a 2% price escalator that kicks in each calendar year. I know this is high-level email, so if you would like me to dig in to one area more, please let me know. Enjoy your weekend. And, I like the, just in a broader context, I went to Durham, North Carolina for a conference that I spoke to at Duke back in late of 2019. And I just loved the area. And when I was at Fidelity, I just remember them always talk about the research triangle between Raleigh, Durham, and I can't think of the other area. So I like that area. I love the big trees. I just love the North Carolina market. And so I guess I'm maybe a little biased about the area, and I like it. And so that's why when I met this guy at a family office conference, and he was telling me some of the things they were doing, and one of the builders that they have a relationship with is with Berkshire Hathaways. And I think the guy had said the deal that they did, I think they bought it for like 900 some thousand. They had like $900,000 all in. And they sold it for like a crazy amount, like somewhere in the tune of about $4 million. And I met him and his partner, who's an attorney by trade, and they just seem like really solid people. I didn't notice anything like shady about them. They seem like just really straight up and down guys. Of course, I would do more due diligence than that, but just in general, I mean, do you guys see things like that, and did that make sense? Because again, I know very, very little about land or real estate in general, but it sounds like a really, really solid deal. And what do I don't know if you guys charge to like vet deals out or do like just kind of do a gloss over, but I have his one pager and his permitting. He has his permitting stuff here as well. And I was wanting to get back to him before I wrote him a check for half of 950,000.
Yeah, so we create deals like that. That's what we're all about, and we're about
Okay.
yeah. We don't address. Joe would say something like somebody got there first. So
Okay. So you guys are the same guys
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
tracking. Okay. Cool. Well, yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Cool. Well, so you got okay. Fair enough. So there's already a marked up in built up in this thing. Then is kind of what you're saying.
yeah.
Probably.
I mean, we generate land deals directly. The sellers are the owners. There's nobody else involved. There's nobody we go in and we'll buy a piece of property from a seller at a price that we think can make it work, and then we'll throw it into one of three buckets: sell it as is immediately. The second bucket would be um, sell it as is but over the long run. So we would take that same type of bucket one property, but we would sell it for retail and expect it to take it longer to sell, keep it on the market. And what you're describing is bucket three property, where we actually either subdivide it, minor split it, and in some cases we put mobile homes on it now anyway, because the market's responding to that so well. So we don't look at one-off
Okay.
deals like that. We really focus on
Mhm.
self-generating, creating our own deal flow, if you know what I mean.
No. I get it. I totally understand. And so that's also telling me is not to look at it from my perspective that this is just the greatest deal in the world. But it sounds like from your perspective, it's the more of like a dime of a dozen type of deal. So, well, it all comes down, and it's crazy because a lot of times when we're raising capital, the money we're usually getting from. So I'm just really kind of like the jokes on myself because we're usually getting money from like high net worth investors and things because they don't see a lot. Not as they're easier to deal with than like
Oh my
sometimes dealing
gosh,
with like
yes.
more institutional investors, right?
Heck
Like,
yes.
no, we're not paying for this. We're not paying for this. You know what? This I can't. They don't want you
You're
on
cutting
the
in and
back
out a little.
end, huh?
So you're cutting
Yeah,
in
you
and
know
out
how
a
they
little
are.
bit, Daryl. You know what's funny? I'm looking at your bio too. That you and I think you and Jack have a lot in common, as far as some of your background. I see your senior living thing. Jack has a history there, in putting those deals together. One of I think the big thing for me is that that deal is, I'm sure, a moneymaker,
Yeah, exactly, Joe. It might make
but
a ton of money.
it's so much more work than I'm willing to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, the simplicity of our business model is so attractive to me and other people, and that's what I like. I find a seller, we research an area, we send them an offer, they call me, I buy it, I put it for sale, I cash the check. It's kind of that. I don't need any government approval. I don't need to go to big bank stuff. I don't have to do any remodeling, anything like that. It is, and I can do 10 a week, 10 a
Yep.
month, 10 a year. I can turn it up, I can turn it down. I can do it from the back of a boat.
Well, he's a lot
It's
younger than I am, and
Thank you.
and I'll tell you, he's got the stomach for it, and he's
That's
doing. I think I don't want to sound like anyone's father here, but he's doing exactly what he should be doing at his age, and all of that experience that he's going through right now, I went through, and I
mhm.
chose this simpler, a lot more frequent transactions that are a lot more simple.
Mhm.
Just you get frustrated after a while with dealing with people who can't make a decision.
It's interesting you say that because my mentor, one of my mentors, tells me that all the time, and it's crazy because you don't when you don't know any better. Because see, I don't think it's a lot of work. I think and it's interesting. We call it imposter syndrome because I'm 37, and I guess I'm at a point in my life where like you kind of you kind of feel like you don't deserve it, and so if it's not hard, then it it can't, not necessarily it can't be real, but like if it's not difficult, then it can't be real. I guess more or less, right? 'Cause like if anything that's real, if it sounds too good to be true, it is, and so you actually end up. It seems like making things more complicated when they actually are or should be. I'm at that part. I'm kind of, I guess I'm kind of telling on myself, but that's kind of where I'm at in life, right? It got to have all these layers to it, and I don't know,
You must be from the
and people.
Midwest.
No, I'm from Dallas, Texas.
Okay.
Oh, I
Because
But I
love that,
also,
Daryl.
we
That
punish
tells me
ourselves
that
in the
you're doing the
Midwest.
right thing. If it comes easy to you, you know how
Yeah,
you
me
look
too.
around, you go, "What? Can't everybody figure this out?" And you're like, "I'm the only one that gets this." That's meant to be. You need to run with that.
well, another guy coined it to me in another way, because I was in his room, and it was this guy named Omar, and he was asking me, "Hey, do you have any tips to people on how you like raise this or that?" And I was like, you just do it." And then the guy was like, "Well, Omar he's a good buddy of mine. He used to be a Black Hawk pilot. I was in the military as well." And he was like, "Well, no, man. Like, there's rules and there's checklists, and when you're a pilot, you got to go out your checklist, and you got to do this and do that." And I was just listening to him. I'm like, "I'm sorry, Omar. I don't think I just do it, man. Like I just I've been in this space for so long." And then another buddy was telling me about the four stages of learning. And he said, like when you're, I think the final stage, what did the guy sent me? His name is Darren, but he talked about the different types of way that people learn, or how we consume information. I'm pulling it up real quick. And the four stages he said was unconscious incompetence, conscious incompetence, conscious competence, and then the fourth stage, unconscious competence. And the best way, the unconscious competence is like riding a bike. You'd never forget how to do it once you learn. But then when you first, it's very robotic, and you're thinking about what you're doing. And then I've just been doing what I've been doing for so long, I'm unconsciously competent in it, right? And I just do it. It's no checklist that I go down. It sounds like obviously you guys are there too in your own right, given the stuff. But see, for me, I would have to. It'd be very mechanical for me to learn. I'd be learning something new, and instead of being uncomfortable, and I probably asked a lot of questions, and you guys would maybe trying to explain stuff, and I'd be like, I don't get it. I mean, why is I not getting this? Why not get? And most people would just kind of like, you know what, I'm going to go back to a familiar place and just, forget this. It's too much. And I guess I'm glad, that I'm younger. And I picked it, and I got fired from Fidelity when I was like 25 years old, which I think was the best thing that ever happened to me because it forced me to go out and learn how to hunt on my own. Where I still have colleagues that work at Fidelity that will call me and be like, "Dude, I can't quit my job because, man, I mean, who's gonna pay me $400,000 a year just to sit on my ass?" And I'm like, "Dude, that sucks, because you can make so much more if you just, but they're stuck. They got kids in college, they got this mortgage. The wife would never let them, it's kind of, it's too late. I mean, no, it's not, but it is, kind of for
Hmm.
them." And that's like, damn. I'm like, man, I wish you guys should have got fired like I got fired back in 2012.
Isn't that funny? Isn't that great? You look back, you're like, that was the best thing could have happened. I thought
Yeah.
my life was over, but that's the kick I needed.
You only got fired
Hell
once?
yeah.
You know?
Who, me? Oh no, I,
Yeah.
I got fired from every job I've ever had in my
Me
life,
too.
personally.
Every single job I've ever had, I got fired.
Uh, There was one time that I called one of my buddies and I said, "Hey man, these guys gave me a 30-day notice." And I said, I've been fired from every job I've ever had. I think I'm gonna put my 2 weeks notice in to leave here on my feet with dignity. He says, "Why do you do a thing like that? Let them fire you and collect unemployment." I'm like, but I'm like, but no, man, I've never, I've been fired from every job in my life, and I just wanted to have one time where I can just give them my 2 weeks notice and go in on my own. And he says, "No, man, forget that. Let them fire you. I let them fire me," and it sucked too because they came in, they Daryl, it's time to go. Like I'm getting ready to go and get executed or something. He said, "Say your final rounds to everybody, and we'll walk you out." And I'm walking. I got my stuff with me, my plant. I'm like, this is embarrassing. And I'm trying to tell jokes. "Hey guys, see you on the other side." But really, I'm just like, this sucks. Like I'm like, what happened? What happened to Daryl? What did he do? Did he? And so I'm walking out. They take my badge, and I'm like, man, I should have put my 2 weeks notice in. This really sucks. And you're out, and you walk out of there, and you're like, okay, well, on to the next thing, right? But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Stephen laughed.
Exactly.
I
That's
have
Just
so
like,
cool.
many
man.
stories
Well, you
just
know
like
what?
that.
So are you thinking of transitioning? Is this something on the side? Or are you thinking about getting into real
Oh no,
estate full time?
oh no, 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 oh no. Well, I mean, look, we're raising $150 million fund right now,
Mm-hmm.
under the exempt reporting advisor exemption. Uh, so we just basically want to stay from being as a registered investment advisor. This is what I do. Like I raise capital for a lot of people. Now I'm going to raise capital for myself.
Good for
And
you.
yeah, yeah. So I'm sitting at about 280 million. Most of that was the VA clinics for this guy by the name of Robert Prado at the Beverly Hills area. He's been building these VA clinics since 2007, and the VA asked him to build 500 of them. So I've
Mm.
raised enough for 40 and another 460 to go. And it's
No,
the easiest thing I've ever. Hmm?
yeah, it's real easy because there's federal reimbursement and the whole thing. That
Exactly.
they're
Firm term
replacing
leases,
those
man.
old, huge VA hospitals, and I think that's a great thing. Everybody wins. I think it's good.
Exactly, exactly. They're actually going to build 5,000 of these bad boys. They're about 1,000 in, but uh, we've raised enough for 40 so far, and some huge public REIT just came in, and they're buying. They're going to buy like the next 20 of them, from this guy. So it's like taking candy from the baby because with the VA, they're firm term leases, so they can't even
Yeah,
cancel the contracts,
they're
and
probably
they're up.
they're probably triple net cross collateralized leases, which is the easiest thing to finance ever.
You got it. And then in addition to that, they reimburse 100% for all T&I as well. So as
Wow,
soon as that certificate of occupancy comes in, they're writing a check, giving
wow.
you all your money back. But, just beyond like the bones, because they have to be designed specifically to spec that the VA wants. And so the VA is going to pay, they reimburse you all back for that.
It's a
So
great
what they'll
deal.
do, oh man, it's the best. It was probably like everyone always asks, like, man, how hard was it? I'm like, actually, it was the easiest thing I've ever did in my life. It took 5 minutes. Went up to this guy named Dr. Sagani, who runs a group out of Dallas called Encore Enterprises. It's called him Doc. He used to be a heart surgeon. And I talked to this guy for 5 minutes, and he says, "Can I put $100 million in?" He said, "I need to do a 1031 exchange. My board's in my ass. How fast can I get $100 million in this thing?" In 5 minutes. I'm like,
It's great.
damn, okay.
I think you're doing fine, man. You don't need to make any changes.
That's true.
uh, well, yeah. I mean, yeah, but it's a yeah, and no, right? I mean, you get bored. This
Mm,
is gonna do it. This thing is gonna do what it's gonna do, right?
mm.
And I guess I'm still in that point where I like new things. I get bored, ADHD, that kind of thing. So I'm pretty sure I'll get to a point in my life where I feel like, hey, let's take it easy, but I'm not there yet.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
with
still in
you.
that adventurous stage, like hiking, climbing up mountains, and crazy stuff like that. Still
So are
there.
we. I like that. That's
Great story.
good. And I'm going to say too, anyone who wants to join in the conversation or you have questions, raise your hand and get on in here. It's interesting. I'm thinking about the money that you're raising and the investors that you're working with. Like, um, and what you just said is how we roll, where the deal speaks for itself. So even in our world, we have deals that are much, much, much smaller than what Daryl's dealing with. But maybe you found a great property for $10,000. It's worth 40. Or worth more. You can sell it for 40, whatever it is. When you have deals, whatever property they are, that it's black and white, like what Daryl's talking about, getting someone to front you the money for that is easy. And
But
I add us to that list.
we're all looking for low risk threshold and high
Mm-hmm.
return. That's I don't care, that crosses all real estate environments, or
Mm-hmm.
really all investment environments. So we just happened, Jill and I, to land on land because you and I, for whatever reason, see it as relatively risk free and high profit, and we've been proving that over and over again. Not to $100 million degree, although if we did want to take it there, we could. I just think
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot more responsibility with that. So in a strange
Mm-hmm.
way, we're all, Sam Zell wrote a book. I haven't read it yet. I just ordered it. And that's been Sam Zell is my real estate hero from Chicago. And that's what we're all looking for. Low
Yep.
risk, high margin real estate deals.
Get in here,
Financing will
Mitchell.
find you when
Hey,
that happens.
Mitchell, how are you?
Hey, what's up, guys? I haven't heard much of the conversation. I just joined in maybe like 60 seconds ago. But yeah, how's it going, guys? How you doing?
Good.
Great. Thank you. We've been talking with Daryl. He's a big time money raiser for different for veteran hospitals, right? Am I saying that right?
Clinics.
Basically, what's that?
Yeah,
Clin-
veteran
clinics.
resource centers and outpatient clinics.
There we go.
That's what they focus on. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. But I didn't put a topic in here on purpose, Mitchell, because I wanted to make it just like whatever you want to talk about. So anything you want to talk about or ask us or.
That's pretty interesting. Actually, there was a property, kind of like it was actually at one point an old hospital in the town I live in Connecticut, and it was basically kind of more so like a mansion per se, and it was empty for like most of my childhood and like around my mid teens. I'm 24 now, so it wasn't that long ago, but in my mid teens, when I was 15, 16, there was a company that took it over and they made it veteran housing. And I mean, the property looks like $1 million now. It's definitely an interesting concept. I'm not very familiar with exactly what workaround they went with, but yeah, there's a lot of income that is generating out of that place because it's always full and it's kept up real nice.
Good.
Are you working on any deals right now, or what do you got going on in your world, Mitchell?
Yeah, so I primarily am a mobile home park investor. Right now, I've got
Great.
126 units locked up, trying to grow to 1,000 units by the end of the year, just basically utilizing joint ventures. I'm working on setting up a call center with one of my friends, trying to build teams and basically kind of, streamline everything that we have going on right now. So, because at this point, for the past, several months, I've been doing nothing but underwriting at my kitchen table, looking through deals on market, off market, through wholesaling lists, like 24/7. And although I was able to, lock up those 126 units in the past, I think it is 15 months now. That's 100% me. So I'm trying to build like 10 more of me's.
Yeah, I'm constantly having that issue also. If I could have another me, that would be awesome. So super cool. How do you find, so are you trolling the MLS? How are you finding your deals?
Yeah, I mean, so recently I haven't paid a lot of attention to the MLS before, and then, recently I've actually just been trying to look for, because I invest nationwide, so I've been checking out MLS listings, that are nationwide, and that just have been listed for a lot of time, trying to target apartments that are 12 units and higher, and mobile home parks that are 20 lots and greater, and that's kind of like where my target is, and I'm trying to look for properties, sub $1 million. So like with my joint ventures I have going on now, any property that's under like say like 1.2 is really really easy for me to to close on, and that's because like my joint ventures is just myself and either one or two additional partners. So getting $250,000 up is a lot easier than once you start getting into that $10 million projects where that the kind of capital raising there is just not in my skill set, nor is it in, even in my underwriting set. I mean, right now I'm just kind of underwriting, every project that I take on has to be a perfect BRRRR. So if I can't cash out refinance before that bridge loan ends in 12 months to get 100% of the capital injected into that property back and refinance before that 12-month period, it's not a property that I'll take on, which, of course is an even more difficult thing to acquire.
What's the perfect acquisition candidate look like for you?
What is my perfect acquisition? So, I mean, I can tell you the best acquisition I've got going on right now, which is a 36 unit mobile home park in upstate New York I'm closing on. It's got 36 lots, just about 100%. Every home is 100% occupied, minus there's like 2 or 3 empty actual lots. They're all park-owned homes, minus like maybe 2 or 3 of them. I have it under contract now. This is actually through a wholesaler, but the wholesaler was a friend of someone that I had just bought some other mobile home parks off of. So, they trusted me a little bit more when it came to saying, listen, I can pay cash and I can close quick. I'm purchasing that one for $750,000. It's currently grossing a little bit under $250,000, so it's just absolutely nuts. But it's a lot of things with mobile home park. Investors don't want. They're majority park-owned homes. They're all older homes, like 60s, 70s. It's it's septic, it's dirt roads, low population, but it's still $750 purchase price and about $250 gross. So, 30 acres, no zoning restrictions.
That's an amazing cap rate. And what's your exit? Are you going to improve it or to just operate it?
No, I'm going to cash out refinance as is. The value add is already done for me. The day I purchase it, I think my appraisal hasn't come back yet, but I think my appraisal as is, I'm purchasing with a bridge loan. My as is appraisal, I assume to come back at least like 1.2 million bare minimum. That's if I got a bad appraisal. So, I mean, right off that, refinance at 75%, I can pull out 900 and I'll only have, 750 in closing fees associated with the deal, and just get it into some long-term debt financing as fast as I can.
I heard, I don't know this for sure, but I was just talking to a banker who said you can get non-recourse financing for a cash flowing mobile home park. Have you heard the same thing?
Yeah. So, yeah, it is, and honestly, it's nice, but, obviously to have a non-recourse loan, but, if I'm getting, my main focus is it recourse or non-recourse. My main focus is how fast can I get you to waive my seasoning requirements, right? Because, for example, typically you those seasoning requirements, they average of 6 months, or even in the mobile home park world, you're looking at maybe sometimes 12 months when you're, cash out refinance based off the appraised value and not like loan to cost. You're looking at 6 month seasoning, year seasoning, but like a park like this, I don't have to do anything. I don't have to go in there raising rents. I don't have to do anything. It's already the as is. It's already a BRRRR. So my biggest thing is how do I get that 25% down or whatever it is out of that property as fast as possible to get into another one. So for me, that's the main thing I'm looking at when it comes into my exits. So for example, me and 2 other partners did a 34 unit. It's a 12 and a 22, but I call it a 34 unit because we bought them together and they're like right down the road from each other. 2 parks in West Virginia in December 9th, actually closed on it. And we are working on we already got terms on a cash out refinance that were about maybe like a week ago, and we're just
Hello, Irene. Hello, Irene. You are beautiful.
Sorry, Mitchell, go ahead.
Yeah.
So you're cash out. You're refinancing, and then you're cashing out through the refi. Okay. And then what? Do you put a management company in place and just collect?
No. Everything I do is vertically integrated. We have I set up in-house maintenance, on-site management. For example, like the parks I have now, we just have on-site managers. And like for the example, the New York one, the guy's been self-managing, and once it gets a little bit closer to closing, I'll just have a conversation with the guy and say, listen, which tenant has been here the absolute longest, which tenant has never paid late, which tenant you don't have problems with, and there's going to be typically a couple when you have this many units, and you go over there and just be like, hey, do you want free rent and $400 a month? And all you got to do is I'm just going to set up the closest bank account I can find to that park, and just say, all right, open up account right there, and say, listen, you just got to collect money orders, and deposit it here, and then I hire an in-house maintenance guy that'll clock in and out with them.
Sounds like a great plan, man. I love that. Do you have any professional background before this, since you're so young?
No, I mean, honestly, I've never picked up a real estate book. I've never taken a course, but what I did do is submerge myself in lots and lots and lots of YouTube videos. And I mean, I probably definitely learned the long way because I mean, before this, I was just always just learning, always learning. But more so, less is the action. And I live in Connecticut. Over in Connecticut, I only have a single family and then like a 5-unit building. But then I started like, oh man, like this is so hard. And those were from driving from Dollar, sending like a ton of handwritten letters, and man, like I don't even know how much money I spent on stamps before I even got a leads. And when I hit the deals, they were amazing deals, but it was just so slow. And I was like, let me get nationwide. So I mean, I wanted to do it low risk, and I think when I chimed in this conversation, I heard you guys talking about like something about like a $30,000 prop or $10,000 property that might be worth 40,000, right? So it's like it's lower risk when it comes to the price tag, anyways. So I was like, you know what? Let me just Google, and I literally Googled like cheapest state in America for real estate, and West Virginia popped up. And it was like this had to have been less than 20 minutes, in my house. And, I pulled up Zillow. I typed in West Virginia, put on the multifamily filter, and just like put it lowest price, first. I found something listed. I think it was originally listed for like 120 or something. And I was just making random offers, just like I got on the phone with the listing agent, and I said, listen, can you present my offer for 65,000? The place was like rent ready, 100% sub-metered, vacant, 100% vacant. So I could, filled it in at market, and it was also there for like 90 days or something on Zillow. And anyway, so long story short, she basically counted. I got a counter the next day for 75, and then I just told them I'm firm. And even though I wasn't, like I would have gladly taken the 75, but that just showed they were playing on my field. If they counted me at 110, I'd be like okay, but if they counted me at 10 grand above what I am, that just basically says they're willing to accept my offer. So I did that 65, and it's now netting about like 30,000 a year. I mean, my taxes are like 600, my insurance is like 700, and everything is sub-metered from water to gas to electric. So I'm not paying any utilities, and I'm self-managing. They all pay Zelle. So there's no real, and we got rid of all the deferred maintenance before I filled the place. So I haven't even had really any issues with it at all. But that was my gateway to get outside of the states. And from that point on, I'm not sure how I got into this topic, but yeah, from that point on, basically, that was my gateway, and I realized what is it like to really manage, outside of your comfort zone, and it was really easy. I just convinced myself that, I mean, not that this is always true, but I had to convince myself that, okay, what is management? Who's calling the maintenance guy, and who's collecting the rent? So, all my tenants there, they paid Zelle, and then I went on Facebook, local Facebook groups in that town, and just typed in the town into the Facebook search bar, and joined groups and said, hey, I'm looking for maintenance guys in the area that I can call if there's an issue, and found a couple of them, and kind of just improved that method from that point on. And now I'm just trying to go nationwide because I've realized that my search is just so much broader. It's like you can fish in a pond and get a couple of fish. You can fish in the ocean and you're probably going to catch a little bit more.
Where's Mitchell going to be at 54?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm not sure that you've been exposed correctly to the world of land, because I think that you would latch onto it pretty seriously and see how much money is involved.
Holy moly.
See, land is obviously I've actually never done any research on land, so it's a different world for me. But I think the thing that kind of, and maybe you could, give me some insight, but my perspective, and just even thinking about land is, it's buying an asset where I'm probably gonna get like 50% financing, and then B, I have to pay those costs, and you have to pay those costs, going forward. It's like it's not an income producing asset. It's not going to cover its own debt.
Yeah, we don't finance anything. We either raise a capital privately through all equity, or we use our own money and we immediately resell it, because our whole mission in life is to buy it as cheaply as we possibly can by sending out tons and tons.
I'm not sure if this is my phone, but everything just went out on my end.
Their audio problems?
We are trying to determine that, so your guess is as good as ours. We'll be right back, everybody.
I want to say, Mitchell, you really inspired me with your progress. I thought that was really awesome.
Hey, how's it going? Can anybody hear me? I mean, I was trying to figure it out because it's gone silent for the past 6 minutes.
Yeah, we got you. I think that there is a Stephen and Jill issue, but stage is still yours. You were definitely, I think, impressing everyone.
That just happened again. I wonder if this is my phone. Hey, Christine. Hey, Amy.
Hi, Mitchell.
Oh, okay, cool. I was
Yeah,
wondering
you're
if,
good.
I was wondering if there was any audio here.
I think, as Aaron said, something happened with Stephen and Jill, but they're coming right back. Um, but if you want to keep telling us your story, we really like it.
Well, there we go.
Hey there. There's just nothing
Hello.
coming out.
Welcome back.
Are they here?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
You can hear me? Okay, good. I can't tell if I'm on or not, so that's so good. I apologize. We might have to wrap this up quicker than I intended today because we're having we're having work done at the house. Long story. It's affecting our internet today. So, hey, whoever's listening here, especially like Mitchell and Daryl, you guys, if you want to jump on we have a regular weekly Thursday member call that we do, and you really want to see more about the deals that we're doing and stuff we're taking down, we would love to have you join us. So just send a note to my team at support@landacademy.com. And anyone in this room that you're hearing, like, what the heck are you guys talking about? And how are you throwing these numbers around? Send an email to support@landacademy.com. Our member calls every Thursday at 2 o'clock Pacific time. So I think it's 5 o'clock Eastern time. And we'd love to have you. Yeah, welcome to join in. Can you all hear me on that?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good. Okay, making sure you guys could hear. So goodness, it's a crazy. So it's so good to talk to you though, and you're just I can't imagine what you're going on. It's funny how we're doing a lot of mobile things too in our world. Some of them we do things to them, and some of them we just turn around and flip them really really fast. And so I want to.
Like mobile homes.
Mhm.
One thing that I thought was interesting is, because you can pick up mobile homes like real cheap, and I was
Mhm.
like, I had the idea, obviously it's not my idea, but it's an idea that just went through my head. Is finding, identifying areas where the housing is, well, obviously you have there's the issue with the town and zoning and all that stuff, but you can
Right.
find an issue where there's not any crazy zoning restrictions. And actually, I mean, a lot of places like the Midwest and stuff, there's like no zoning restrictions in a lot of towns that I've
Mhm.
actually crossed. But finding an area that's like, pretty expensive and putting like a nice double wide down, and, where every single home's like, say every home's like 150, and you could put down a, double wide for 100 grand and make 50,000 or something like that.
We're doing that, but ours are more like 350 and 400 is what they're selling for in the areas that we're working on these. So you can, and we can show you and help you buy bigger acreage, split it all up, put 5 of them on there and sell 5 of them for 350 to 450.
Can you?
That's the stuff that we're doing right now. So, and we use data. We don't mess around. We're not guessing, and that's where Jack comes in. He's my data nut. He is the pro at researching and finding the areas to do this all over the country, like you're doing. We've been doing this for decades now, and It's just affordable how we call it affordable housing, right? It's still mobiles, and it's a wonderful niche that a lot of people they don't understand or they don't want to do. I'm like, great.
Do you have
So,
an issue with setting up your end buyers with financing?
no, we're usually because you know what, there's too many places to get funding, especially on a brand new mobile.
So you're not having. So what do you like? Are they going to like 21st Century or something?
I don't know who they're using. Honestly, I've seen Wells Fargo pop up. You know what's funny about this is like back in the day when we first started. Well, Jack's been doing this since the 90s. I came along 12 years ago, 13 years ago, but it was very hard, especially on rural vacant land, to get funding, right? Now there's places like Rural First and even normal banks like Wells Fargo Bank. I'm seeing them pop up our loan on our closing documents as financing people.
Are
So
you
it.
solid found?
What's that?
Are you fixing the homes to a foundation?
So there, Jack knows more about that. And you back, Jack?
Yeah, I didn't hear the question. Yes, I'm here.
So for the mobiles, the current mobiles, because I don't know what the current situation. Are you fixing them? Are we pouring the pad? Or are we just are the wheels
No,
staying
no,
on?
we're on the projects we have now. We're there. It's on block.
Okay. But it also varies by state, by area,
Yeah,
by county. Yeah, I'm sure you know that already, Mitchell. Like in certain, if it's incorporated, you could have them this way. If it's not incorporated out in the county area, this is the parcel size, and it all varies, and the zoning
it all
varies.
starts with the land deal. If we get the
Hmm.
right land deal, we do a minor split. We'll take one property, turn it into 5 APNs, put a shared well and a septic system in some cases. Sometimes it's on city utilities, and we'll throw $150,000 brand new mobile home on it on each APN, and then sell the whole thing for each unit for between 350 and 450,000, depending on the whole environment. So it's a great return on investment. The whole thing takes less than a year from start to finish, and but it all starts with the land deal, which is really where our expertise is. We're lucky enough,
Hmm.
Jill and I are lucky enough to have a business partner who's also started out as a friendship, who's just he's got a ton of multifamily 1031 experience. So he's kind of an ass kicker. So
Hmm.
we're not operations people, and it sounds like Mitchell, you kind of are. You don't like it, but it seems like you have what it takes to put the right people in place, and that's just not our forte. That's what's held us up for so long, and now we've got the right people in place. So
Yeah, and it is a holdup. It's like, for example, it's the same concept. If you're getting your investments and you got a single family house, and you can redo the bath. You get a quote to redo the bathroom for 15,000, but you can do it yourself for like 5,000 or whatever it is. And then it's like getting out of that mindset of, well, why am I gonna let somebody else do it if I can do this like three times cheaper? But then you have to think where your time can be focused on. So
yeah,
that's what I've been trying to do is try to focus my time on other things and build that team and try to get like, well, first I was interviewing VAs just off like Upwork and stuff, and I realized that it was really hard to really difficult to set up VAs and every time it was like a start from scratch in my experience from each one. So I was like, man, how can I set up my own firm? And if you look at my Instagram, tagged to my thing, I used to travel the world full time, and so I have a lot of connections in a lot of different countries. And I have one friend that lives in Togo, and he owns a company out there that they manage a couple hundred people, an infrastructure company. And I told him, I was like, hey man, like what about if we get an office building out there and get a call center going or something like that? And he's like, yeah, well, there's one right down the road that Amazon owns, and I was like, well, maybe we can whatever they're paying, we'll pay them double, and then set up a nice place, and whatever else we can offer. And then so I'm trying to so he's actually starting looking at office buildings now and stuff, and I'm trying to get that all set out and just figure out with whatever creative way I can to kind of streamline all of the processes, because at this point I've been the underwriter, I've been the deal finder, I've been the person getting the financing, I've been the person having to raise capital, I've been the person doing everything, and it's just like, yeah, it's good, and I do it 24/7, so I'm grinding hour in and hour out, and it's my full-time job. I don't have a day job. This is all that I'm doing. So I've been able to scale to that 120 plus units in 15 months. But if I could just get this operations and streamline it, then I can retire myself, retire my family. I mean, that's the real end goal.
Makes a lot of sense. I'm sure you're going to be successful at it way more than you already are.
Mm-hmm. Ding, ding. I love that. Well, thank you, everyone. I'm gonna wrap this up while I have access, while I have internet, while you can still hear me. You can't even imagine what my display looks like. It's all kind of weird here. I can't. It's hard to tell that I'm even in the room, but yeah, I'm here. It's funny. So thank you so much. I'm gonna do this again. I like this open forum, talk about anything because we got a
Me
lot of
too.
interesting, different people in here. Thank you. There's a lot of people that I don't know in the room right now, and I'm really happy that is awesome. So follow our Land Investing Club here in Clubhouse. Follow us, follow Mitchell, follow Daryl, anybody that you connect with somebody, follow them, and you'll get notified when they go live, when they're on stage and doing things like that. And we're here the first and third Thursday of every month at this time. And then also, if anybody wants to hear more, or you just want to what the heck, you can find us. You can, read our bios, find us, but you can also, as I mentioned earlier, get into our Thursday member call, which is happening in an hour from now. If you would like, we would happily have you in. It's a Zoom thing. It's a closed Zoom environment where we really sit and look at deals on the screen and we map them and we talk about price and we talk about who's going to sell it and how it's going to go and really dig into the nitty gritty of it. So if you want to do that, we would love to have you. Just send that note to support@landacademy.com. And then we will be right back here in a couple weeks. So thank you, Jack.
Yeah,
This was
thank you, Joe.
awesome. I think you had a good time. Different people and different stuff to talk about that I know makes you happy too. So, and if you're happy, the house is happy and I'm happy. So, and thank you to my team for covering for us. You guys are awesome. Thank you, Amy and Aaron and Joey in Brooklyn. So, all right. Have a great week, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.